So Vaughn's been using an HDX system. He's been testing it early on. You've done a few sessions running at those high sampling rates and also using the floating point file format.
Yeah.
And you're noticing that you mentioned the cymbals, and you're getting the kind of processing power you need to run that kind of a session.
Yeah.
With the delivery being the way it is, how important is it really to be working at those high sampling rates?
I mean, I think it's one of those things. There are going to be people who feel like, well, compatibility, but I think when you hear it, you know you want it. It's like you might have a session that it's like, all right, well, for compatibility with other studios, maybe I can't go up there, but it's going to be the kind of thing that people hear it and they're going to be like, I want to record at 176. I want to record at 192. Like, it sounds great. I don't want to, settle for less. And I think, I've done other experiments with, even with soft synths, where you up the sample rate of the session and the soft synths sound significantly better. And the other thing that's been interesting is that the plugins that are written for 192, particularly the emulations, sound much closer to the gear that they're emulating. It's just more fun to listen to. It's not, I feel like at the lower sample rates, it's a little bit grating. And this just sounds great, and it's just fun to work on. It's like, oh, wow,
Okay, so you're pushing the envelope with sample rates, with 32-bit float file format. How much longer do you think you would need an accelerated system like HDX, or do you think something like HD Native would suffice for your needs?
The native system is really great, but I actually haven't tried to push it at 176K, so I don't know what it's really capable of. But then obviously the other thing is the latency. And, if you built a whole mix and you have an artist who comes in at the end of the mix and it's like, oh, I got to put this vocal in. I forgot I need to do this ad lib, or I just got inspired. And it's like to have to stop and like do a bounce and like make a new session when all you really want to do is like hit the record enable button so they can run into the booth and do it. I think that's where the difference lies. Like what you're getting with the HDX system is like all the power from the native system, but the non-latency sort of guarantee that you traditionally got from TDM. When
you started working with HD Native, you heard some striking differences between that and your TDM system?
Yeah, I mean, the 32-bit floating point, it sounds punchier to me. There's a greater depth of field. It just sounds more analog to me. It's just the kind of thing that you have to listen to, and the moment that you hear it, you're like, okay, I want this.
You're also, I think, have run into issues not having enough delay compensation with previous versions. So now that we have over 16,000 samples of ADC, is that sufficient?
Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, I've got a couple of plugins
that
are
far
like pushing the limit, but there's nothing that's breached it. And since I've been working a lot at 88.2, it's actually double the 16. It's 32K. So I've got a couple of plugins that are running at 31,000 samples, and it's working. It's great.
What's your favorite part of the Pro Tools HD10 software?
The main thing to me is just the sample rate thing, because I've wanted that for so long, and now to have it is like a really, really big deal. And the other thing that I didn't really hear talked about much is the bus interrogation is actually pretty cool, because a lot of times, the way I work at least is I'll have all my aux tracks for effects returns at one end of the session, and I'll be working at the other end, and I'll be like, wait, am I using this plugin or not? Like, am I using this reverb? Like, I'll frequently have like 3 reverbs that I set up and at the beginning of a mix, and then I might edit them as the thing goes on, but I want to make sure that I'm not affecting something else, so I can go in quickly and see who else is like using this end.
So I don't know if you've seen this feature yet. It's in version 10, where you can go to any aux and you can interrogate it so that you can find out, well, show me everything that's going to this bus. And it's just kind of an automatic scripted show hide for you. So yeah, once mixes get large and you're looking at a screen that's maybe this big, it's real quick for you to just say, everything that's going to bus 32, bang, here it is.
Yeah, it's really fantastic. And, really from a troubleshooting point of view, it's like if you have to like try and figure out what else is going to a particular session send in the session, and you've got like 90 tracks and you're sitting there page by page like, oh god, this is just like instant, so it's a big improvement, and it's not very sexy, but it's actually kind of a big deal.